Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it. How do you feel?
We're mad as hell, and we're not
where the science of tyranny is law. You don't think they'll drop a bomb?
It's on the coat, man. It's on the coat, man. It's on the coat. You play, you'll get your turn, and then you burn. You can play, you'll get your turn, and then you burn. You can play, you'll get your turn, and then you burn. You can play, you'll get your turn, and then you burn. It's on the coat, man. Know when they got drones and they're aimed at my home, ready to bust my dome. So I set them free when I spit these lines, fuel that fire in their minds. Who needs a fix? I know I do. I need the truth, not the news.
I'd rather starve than eat the food they serving on the tube, cause it takes away your sound and sight. More than that, your will to fight. It's hard to see late at night when you're blinded by the hype. And another story breaks, they say it could change your life.
Yeah, turn it off, I wish we would. Then we see what's really good. With those who know they could change the world for the good. Cause all we got to do it and prove it is one shot. And I won't wait no more, I'm on a mission, I won't stop. What? You don't think they'll drop a bomb? They don't care what's wrong, they'll send more troops, juice and oops, and drop one on your lawn. All they need is all they know, and all they know is how to lie. All I know is exposing war crimes ain't a crime. Free Bradley Manning, and look up Michael Hastings. There's more, but at least you'll finally see what it is we're facing. Log in and set it out before they blow up your cabin. By now you should know and care that they're mapping and tracking. I'm 2 steps from my last steps, I'm an enemy at the state. And you are too, cause I know every move you're about to make. You can play if you want, yeah, you'll get your turn. But I told you this ain't a game, more than you will burn. You can run, you can hide, you can try and stay alive. You can lie and say you're living, but who you kidding? You can run, you can hide, you can try and stay alive. You can lie and say you're living, but who you kidding? You can run, you can hide, you can try and stay alive. You can lie and say you're living, but who you kidding? You can run, you can hide, you can try and stay alive. You can lie and say you're living, but who you kidding?
Where the science of tyranny is law.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows user modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to bipcot.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Peaceful Anarchism on the Voluntary Virtues Network and theseedsofliberty.com and theconsciousresistance.com. So we are covered by the BIPCOT No-Gov license. That allows for reuse of this show by anyone except government and the agents thereof. You can find out more information on bipcot.org. We have the link in the description. So today we have Blooded the Brave coming in from Indiana once again. We had him on a few times in the past, and he's always putting out some awesome content, so we're happy to support him, as always. He's a voluntarist anarchist, conscious rapper. His website is bloodedthebrave.com. Facebook, Blooded the Brave. He's on Instagram, Spotify, Twitter, at Blooded the Brave. And we're going to talk about his recent music video, single, Not a Game, about drones. Very well done music video. And also, talk a little bit about the recent Earth Day event where government, the monopoly on violence, declares a day to celebrate the Earth, of which they are the number one polluter. So, and also just to let everyone know, he has a new album coming out on May 12th, where he is featured as Kyle Reese from the Terminator. So we're looking forward to that. So Brent, thanks a lot for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, man. Good to see you. Appreciate the opportunity, man.
Yeah.
I love what you do. I love what you guys do. So thank you. I appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you. Yeah, I love having people on, and helping you send out your message, because I think the more that we help each other, the greater that our reach will become. Right? We, it's the sum. The sum is greater than the individual parts in some ways, right?
Yes.
So individually we're the analogy is as a stick, each individual stick can easily be broken, but when they're all together, much more difficult, right?
That is the truth, my friend. That's the truth. And every day we grow in numbers every day. I mean,
it's beautiful.
Freedom is popular. What do you know?
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, for those people that are pessimistic and don't have a good view of the future, I think all you have to look at is the internet, and since it started, and just look at the amount of information that's being dispersed, globally, worldwide, all the networks that are being made. People in remote areas of the world are connecting with other areas. National borders are being broken down, right? And people are talking, and I think that's the best way to defeat statism, is just to connect people, right? Because when you don't have communication, then you have fear, then you have confusion, you have prejudice and bias, and that's the basis of advocating for power and authoritarianism, because people live in fear.
Yes. And when we don't have that open communication with each other, fear will take over, because after you talk to someone, you realize, oh, he's a human like me,
Right.
And it's a beautiful thing to actually, and to learn with people from all over the world. That's my favorite thing about the internet. Since the internet's inception, me and all my friends have been, obsessed with it, not for a fashion trend or following a celebrity. That wasn't an option when the internet came out. The internet was, here, learn what you want about the world or anything you're interested in.
Right.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah, I read an Aldous Huxley quote today, which said, propaganda is when some people are convinced that another group are not people. They're just not a set of individuals. It's like that's how you instill fear. Is you say they're not like us, they're different, right? They're evil.
And you remove humanity,
right,
from humans, and we're left soulless and no love, no heart. And we all have a heart and love, and it's beautiful when we remind each other and we see that in each other. But like you just said, man, that's a crazy quote. You remove the humanity from a group of people, and they can look like, your worst enemy when they're just people. That's it.
Right. Like, you just think about all the people that went to war, for, basically for politicians and bankers. And, if they were to just talk to their enemies on the battlefield and say, are you these evil people that my politicians have been telling me about? Or are you just some guy who has a family trying to get by and has a business and trying to earn money and give your kid a decent education? Like, are you this evil guy? No, not really. What about
was
you?
That? That was a Christmas Day in World War II when they stopped and they played soccer.
Oh, World War One.
World War One.
Yeah, Christmas truce in December 1914, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh.
Man, what a powerful day. And it's just too bad they didn't continue. It's too bad they didn't all just walk off together and say, hey, we've got all these guns. Why don't we just go home and get our families, and I'll meet you guys back here and we'll build our own town.
Yeah. And what's really shocking is that, it's like they were able to turn off the murderous rage that they had for one day just because of an idea, the idea of Christmas.
Yes. That's why I love that day. It hurts some people. That day, some people don't like, but I love it because it shows that it can be turned off and that people do care about each other. And we do already. So I don't care, what they're selling and how they tell it. You're always going to have bad things happen, but people genuinely want good things. And when they want good things, it's easier for them to have good things if the other guy is happy,
Right.
and doing well.
Yeah. It's like if you can do that for one day, why can't you do that for a week, for a month, for a year, for many years? Why can't you just think? Why do you have to go back to hating the other guy? Why do you have to do
what we're not told is probably the general who stepped up and said, "All right, boys," because it comes down to following orders.
Exactly.
And that day they didn't follow orders,
Right.
and it takes true courage to have responsibility for yourself and not follow orders and follow your own orders and decide what your own fate will be. And they did it for that day, but the next day they went back to being in their cult, where they just did what they were told, and that is the most dangerous thing that's happened. And it's holding humanity back and us hostage. It's just people who follow orders. It's really sad and it's really scary. But that day they didn't do it. But it'll happen. Hopefully, the day will come when they lay down their arms and they think for themselves and decide to own themselves.
Mm. Yeah, I should. Maybe I'll put in the description the episode. Prof. CJ did an episode just on the Christmas truce, like an hour show, and really awesome. Just talking about, and then you hear people who write about it, who were there at the time, and what actually happened, and they played soccer and they buried the dead, and they went they were at each other's funerals. They learned each other's languages. They exchanged gifts. Oh my God, it's just amazing. And like you said, it never happened again, partially because the higher ups realized that this can't be tolerated, right? So they became like the way they train soldiers became more mechanistic and more knee-jerk reaction, like you follow an order without even thinking. It's like a lower motor neuron reflex. You're not supposed to think at all.
Well, when you get anyone into an occult, there's a way to do it, and it's through repetition.
Yeah.
So, get those people to hate anyone else who isn't like them.
Mm.
And they've just locked down these people to believe that I must do what I'm told, and then the rest of society to say, well, that's just the way it's done, and thank God for them, because without them I wouldn't be safe. Which is just crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, but order followers, in fact, are what is holding humanity back. And it's not my opinion. It's a fact. It's just a truth. If you won't think for yourself and hold yourself responsible, and you rely on taking orders from someone else, I don't know if you have a soul. I really don't. I mean, it comes down to that. This single I'm here to talk about, Not a Game. My new music video, it's called Not a Game. Everybody can go type it in. I went right at the people who just follow orders and, drop bombs on little kids in villages who pose no threat to your life here. And every day, everywhere, guys who just follow orders sit in a computer room and fly drones all over the world and are striking the fear. I mean, people can't imagine. There's a quote from a kid. I forget where he's from, but he said that, they don't see blue skies anymore. And, he's grown up in fear for the last 10 years of the drones, but we're over here and people are pledging allegiance to a flag where you're supposed to get, justice and a trial and due process, but they don't care if someone so far away that we blow up doesn't get that. And the other part of this music video that it really focuses on is Christopher Dorner, the police officer who received no trial for disobeying and not following orders. They just killed him. We don't even know what happened. We would like to know how many people he killed or the LAPD killed. LAPD, basically declared Los Angeles a war zone, and then when they locked him down in the cabin, it burnt down. Kind of like Waco, it just burnt down. But without due process, I don't want to hear anything from anybody about freedom or justice. You can get out of here with that. Stop lying to yourself. I got my new hashtag I use, which is freedom, FREEDUMB. That's what you got. Yeah, that's what they got. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's tragic, man.
Yeah, the drones. It's an amazing thing that it's like the drones that they were created by a private entrepreneur, right? Like some guy invented drones, right? His initial intention was not to kill people, right? That's the thing that we have to elaborate with status is that if we oppose government school, we don't oppose education, right? If we oppose public funding of roads, we don't oppose roads.
Right, exactly.
If we oppose drones used by the government, we don't oppose drones, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just a tool, just like a gun, just like a computer, just like a car. It's just a tool, and it's a machine that can do whatever you want it to do, right? And if you want to make it into a killer agent of death, you can do that. So that's what we're against. Is that this is another thing. Another way to describe government is an entity that claims exemption from the universal laws of morality that we all are subject to, right? So there is really no other private institution that is not completely unconnected to government, that has no government subsidy or protection or anything or shield, that can act with immunity, just act without moral responsibility as government can, right? Only government, only agents of the state can say, I was just doing my job. You can't blame me, things like that. Those kind of petty excuses.
They do what they want, and they're on the hunt.
Yeah.
They do what they want. I mean, just like I said in Man Down in that music video, you can't hold them accountable.
Right.
I mean, they're it's beyond religion. They're gods. They get to do whatever they want. And heck no, I'm not against technology and advancement of human race. I used a drone in my new music video, and it made it look, here I am, an independent artist, and this music video competes with anything they got in Hollywood because I use technology in advance.
Right.
And that's the beauty of the free market. If it was controlled and only Hollywood had those drones, I wouldn't have been able to use that for my music video. But I didn't arm that drone with a bunch of missiles and go fly it over somewhere where some guy sent me a letter saying, I hate your music, and go blow them up. That's what government does.
Right.
Oh, I don't, it's blowback is a word nobody understands, but there's a reason why people might not like you. So, everybody just mad because these people are upset. Well, why are they upset? There is a cause. Have we killed almost 1 million people in Iraq since 1991? It's 900,000, like, on record. People don't want to swallow that number, but they need to swallow 900,000 humans. For what? For a guy? For what was Saddam doing? Like, was he killing that many people? I don't know. I mean, the whole but government in itself, all forms of it, they thrive off of control, fear, and if they have to, they go to war, and they'll do it real quick.
I don't watch TV or the news, but people in my house do, and so occasionally I'll hear a snippet, and somebody is watching some news channel, and I just overheard accidentally Obama saying, we have to hunt down these evildoers, make the world safe for America. And I almost had to start laughing because it's just amazing how illogical and irrational nationalism is. It's like it makes me want to go up to status and like, don't you find it coincidental that the place that you're living in, the politicians keep telling you that this is the best place on earth? Isn't that a coincidence that the place you're living in happens to be the good, and everybody else is the evil?
Yeah.
And you're lucky to live here. So just bless the politicians, bless the flag, bless the government. Like, don't you find even just a little bit of something is going on here, some trickery, some deception. It's amazing how people just swallow that kind of stuff.
I mean, hey, we don't believe in owners and rulers, so I don't even see them. It's like the Matrix, the spoon.
Right.
There is no spoon.
Right.
I don't see authority. It doesn't exist. So I don't even pay attention to people going and voting for a new master or anything like that. I don't even know who their names are. but I'm a human, so I know who's running and how, how it's done and what they do. And one of the future Führers came to my city last week.
Ooh.
Who is a broke billionaire.
Uh-huh.
I think his name's Donald Trump.
Right.
And his speech was hilarious. I laughed. I actually listened to it on the radio and laughed the whole time. Almost peed my pants. He sounded like he sat down and took notes from Ron Paul and Hitler. And he was faking the whole thing. Like, he's not going to do any, they just tell you what they want you to hear. But I mean, hey, if I'm trying to own you and I'm selling you on, I want you to give me the rights to own your life. I'm going to tell you whatever you want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what they do, man. And then people just line up and say, well, of course I want this guy to decide how I should live and what's good for me.
Right.
And, but until people have the courage and guts enough to have self-responsibility and realize that, see, the thing about the drones and the non-accountability and why I made that music video is because I have a conscience and I have humanity and don't refuse to lose it. And I realize the money stolen from me is used to build those weapons and kill those people.
Yeah.
And I don't like having that on my conscience or on my hands. I don't like that. I'm against that. And more people, once they take it to heart, they will be against that too. You can run from it and hide all you want, but sooner or later, you're going to end up meeting someone or running across a story that just you'll never get over it, and it'll always affect you.
Yeah, no, I'm just constantly amazed how people, can, when they say they're happy to pay their taxes because there's roads and schools and bridges. It's like, are you seriously forgetting like the majority of where your money goes to? Like, I'm like, so we have drone strikes of innocent men, women, and children, weddings and gatherings all the time in the Middle East. Right, we have invasions of various countries, occupations. We have around 1,000 military bases around the world. We've been in perpetual warfare since 1960s or something like that. And you're happy that we have roads? Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah. And we couldn't have those roads without somebody forcibly stealing from us.
Right. That's the other thing.
Yeah, no, we now have there's more United States military in Europe than there are all European countries combined. I saw that the other day. So when these conspiracy crazy guys in 1970 to 80 and 90 were talking about the United Nations and the United States military being the army for the United Nations, guess what? They weren't lying to you. It wasn't a conspiracy. It's true.
Right.
Yeah, it's on record.
Right.
But yeah, hey, I mean, as long as they steal half of all of our money and use it to build planes that cost $1 trillion that never work, then I feel free and I feel safe. And daggone it, I'm gonna go vote again for a new master because $1 trillion. We had to try. We had to try and build that plane. It's to keep us safe. We don't need to feed anybody,
right? Or
we don't need to, it's bad. It's tough, man.
Yeah. The other thing is, people who say they're happy to pay their taxes. It's kind of a contradiction because it's like, can you be happy to be mugged? Or can a woman be happy to be raped? No, of course not, right? So the idea is a violation of consent, right? There's no choice. There's only force, right? If you do have a choice, then it's called charity. It's not called taxation, right? You're donating to where you want to put your money, not at the point of a gun. All right.
Yes. As voluntarists, which we are, is that a voluntary action?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's simple. It's really simple. I don't know if you saw, but the day after we took over the internet with taxation is theft, the hashtag,
mm-hmm.
I woke up the next day and felt like my team just won the Super Bowl. It was so glorious, man. It was. I'm still smiling.
Nice.
Just to know that thought was interjected in so many people's minds,
right,
where they had to think, wait a minute, is taxation theft? That's what makes me smile, for them to at least think about it, because that's what, I had to think about it at one point. I'm not all knowing. I went through all types of pain and books and knowledge and years of research and just to realize a simple truth, which is that I own myself. But that's how thick and hard their programming is, and how they get you at an early age and throughout government schools and everything, is that it takes that long to realize such a simple truth, that there is no such thing as authority and that I'm free.
Yeah. It is amazing how these, these concepts are so simple. Self-ownership, property rights, taxation is theft. You can't delegate a right you don't have. Right?
Right.
Belief in authority is a lie. Things like that. Government fundamentally does not exist. They're just men and women with guns forcing you to pay them. As Mark Stevens puts it. And it's so important. And because I forget who said it, but I saw somebody say that if you can convince somebody that taxation is theft, like, most of everything else that they believed about government usually falls to ashes, and just crumbles, because how can you justify anything that the government does if it's all founded on a violation of consent, of theft, right? How can you justify anything? You can't, It doesn't matter where the money goes. It doesn't matter if it goes, where should we put the stolen money? Here, or should we put the stolen money here?
Right. It's still stolen.
It doesn't matter. It's like if a mugger mugs you at gunpoint and says, "Don't worry, I have a sick grandmother and it's gonna go towards her medical expenses." That's not the point. The point is you stole from me.
Yep.
It's my money, and maybe if you asked, I might have given it to you. But
I was just gonna say that, because many people I know have had situations, and one was theft inside a home from someone they knew, and the next day he just asked that person, "You could have just asked me for it."
Yeah.
And instead you violated,
Yeah.
and there was no shiny badge or trial, or it's a moral natural law, and that guy knew that he violated it. And man, it's all pretty simple, but I got to use my voice as a weapon of truth, and I'll bang on that microphone and on those visuals and on those stages until people get it. I'm just up there letting them know that I love them, and that they're free.
Yeah. And
I'm not scary. I'm here with hugs. If you hear anger in my voice, it's at the people hurting others and stealing from them.
Right. Yeah. So, all right. So then let's talk a little bit about Earth Day, since that was recent. And everybody, I see all over, clean up your local, state park, and clean up the highways, and let's keep our county and our county and town clean. And make sure you use reusable bags. That's what the world needs. To improve the world. Forget about the perpetual warfare. We just need to use more reusable bags, and
Yeah. We're not hurting the environment at all with all the regulations we have on anything that you could grow that's sustainable.
Right.
Like, we wouldn't have, pay no attention to the millions of trees we cut down, because you still can't grow hemp, and you still can't use it, even though it is 10,000 times, stronger and better for the earth and the people.
Right.
I mean, you can miss me with all the Earth Day comments, because I love the earth. I'm a human.
Yeah.
And I understand how your regulations, harm the earth, and you won't let us be free. Most people can't even grow a garden in their yard. It's against a code or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get out of here. I can't have chickens. I got to get a permit to fish. I got to get a permit to live.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of how many, uranium bombs are dropping that, kill the atmosphere, and radiation levels and all that, Earth Day is really a big old fear tactic that they use on kids. That's what it is. I mean, they teach them all, we got to protect, the earth, and because there's people that want to harm it. Well, who's harming it? Maybe the guy who's writing your check to teach me this. Is it the guy behind the screen? Is this the Wizard of Oz? Who's back there?
Right.
But yeah, the little kids, they got a heart and they care. So they want to help the earth. That's good. Every day is Earth Day. Every day is a day to celebrate life in all forms. But, if you have to get a day out to say, this is Peace Day.
I know, right? Well, what are the other days? War Day?
Yeah, this is a problem. This is a problem. I can't even see, people are getting hustled, man. They can't even see they're getting hustled. Everybody should go live in the Bronx for a week or something, or out in West Virginia in the woods. I swear everybody needs to do that. I'm going to start a summer camp where I drop kids off, and have them think for themselves. Because then that's the only way they'll be able to break free of the conditioning.
Yeah. The Earth Day is interesting. It's like one thing to point out is how through our government schooling, we basically one of the underlying lessons is that capitalism, or unfettered free market capitalism, is evil. It's fundamentally evil, harmful for the environment. There's rampant exploitation, wage slavery. Thank goodness for child labor laws and regulations for keeping those evil capitalists in line. And what's so unfortunate about that is, government, I think Jeff Deist said this, a really awesome quote. He said, government is a lagging indicator, right, of culture, right? First, the sentiments of the people, the minds of the people shift, and then the government comes in, right? So people think that, it was because of child labor laws that, child labor stopped. No. Actually, they made it more difficult for progress to happen, right? As the technology was improving, there was no longer need for children to work, right? Because people were working more efficiently and getting paid more, right? They can buy more things with less money as technology and efficiency improved in transportation and production. And so most of every time these regulations are a hindrance on productive people. It always happens like that. And so, really free market capitalism is the most resource conservationist economic system there is, right? Because only the people who are themselves invested in a particular industry and working and making the decisions for their particular industry know what they need to do, right, to conserve their resources. Why would a business have a business model to, destroy resources, without regard, and put himself out of business? Why would any businessman want to do that, right?
That's not how you make money.
A true businessman looks to the future and says, how can I maximize my resources and decrease my spending so that I can have a long-standing business and return clientele and things like that. So to me, free market capitalism is the best way to conserve natural resources, not regulations or authoritarianism or these control freaks coming in and saying, you need to do that, because they have no idea. They have no idea what they need because they're not working in the industry.
People have a problem with capitalism. They have a problem with themselves. Whatever. People have been conditioned to hate themselves, so they don't think that they should advance as humanity, and they don't think they should make money. They've been taught to hate themselves, so they hate capitalism, whatever. But so they think that all this power, if they hate capitalism, that they fear a monopoly.
Yeah.
Government is the biggest monopoly in the world.
Yeah.
They do whatever they want.
Yep.
They corner every market. And without competition, freedom suffers. Prices suffer. We suffer. Your children suffer. The environment suffers. We can't decide. We let these oligarchs, self-proclaimed kings that we put in office, decide. And look what happens. I mean, the earth that's the other part of it. I mean, people can get scared and fear Earth all they want, but the Earth has been around for a long time. Yeah. And there's a song or a poem that was wrote a long time ago about when the birds singing to each other when man is gone and they're sad, they miss man, because if they would have only known that we were fine, the animals and Earth, and they would have just paid attention to themselves and stopped hurting themselves, that the man would still be here with us to enjoy the earth. It's really deep. It's pretty sad poem, but it's good. Makes you think.
What's the
We
name?
gotta love.
What's the name of that
I don't
poem?
know. I don't know. I can't remember it.
Oh shoot. Okay.
But we gotta love each other if we want to love Earth, because we're all here. You know. I don't know.
Yeah, and the other interesting thing is that, you know, for some reason people tend to think that those people who are entrepreneurs and business owners are evil. By definition, they're evil, right? And people who go into government are by definition benevolent and magnanimous and wonderful and, you know, selfless.
Yes.
They can do no harm, right?
Caring.
And caring. What is the magic about going into an institution that functions off of theft and violence and threats of intimidation? how can that possibly attract the best of people? You know, it's more likely that it attracts the lowest, the vile, the scumbags, people, the type of people that you know that can't survive,
or someone who just needs a check, you know, like,
right?
You know, they just need some money, so, you know. But government is not supposed to be, you know, for profit, or you know, they already steal half your money, so how they operate as a business, they lose money every year. Look at the USPS compared to FedEx, you know.
Right.
Government, okay, so for anyone who thinks government knows what they're doing, they look at the numbers. They don't. They lose money every year. They take more of your money. Has it ever gone down? Have they ever said, well, you know, this year we're going to lower this. We're going to lower this. None of it will ever go down. Like I say in a song, you know, once they pass that law, which the Patriot Act, I knew, you know, there's no going back. There is no going back. They're not going to reopen it and say, you know, well, I mean, I knew that was a defining time for the history of the world around 2011, which is what that song, Not a Game About Drones, was about. I mean, same with the environment. Government just got more power, like they weren't powerful enough around the world. But after 9/11, all governments worldwide just grew and grew more and more to keep you safe. All to keep you safe.
Yeah, there always has to be a boogeyman. You know, there always has to be somebody that we have to fear, right? If it's the communists or the Soviets or ISIS or Al Qaeda or the Taliban or ISIL or global warming or climate change, right? There's always got to be
scared. Be scared.
And what's funny is that, you know, when people talk about you know, global warming, and I joke and I say, you know, you know, you're right. This is how we need to save the environment. All we have to do is give the politicians more money and give them more power. That's got to fix it. You're right.
That's it.
You found it.
Yep. It's simple. It's so simple. Have you seen the guy who founded the Weather Channel? He's been outspoken since he sold the Weather Channel, but I guess
really?
This week he wrote a op-ed in the New York Times or Post, and he just said he's had enough of anyone believing that these people are going to help the environment at all when they're in fact the ones harming it. You know, and they're not ever, they don't help you. So, you know, why would they help the environment? I mean, besides your roads and your 135 regulations they give you for the bathroom at your business, you know, this is how they help you. No one is helping you who's holding you back. It's just we have to get people to realize that they're being held back. That they don't see that.
And the companies or the corporations that people often vilify for destroying the environment, like, let's say BP, like Shell, like Chevron, like you know, Texaco, and then you got all the defense contractors like Halliburton, and, you know, I forget the other names, but you know, the only way that they can wreak so much havoc and destroy you know, other people's lifestyles and their villages, and, you know, without recourse, without like without responsibility, is because they have the corporate shield, right? They have the protection of the state. And it's so funny that people petition the state to protect them from corporations that are protected by the state.
Yeah. They don't get it. They've been given a pass because they help fund, you know, authority as well, so they can get a pass. Yeah, anyone who starts a small business who can find a way to, you know, help your business grow and the people around you, and that's why government is involved in every aspect of business. Like I just mentioned, they have 135 regulations on the bathroom at places that have to have public customers. 135 regulations on just your bathroom, because government wants a piece, because they do help those corporations grow. They want in that business. They want in, their tentacles are in everything. So, you know, any small business owner out there who's just selling lemonade and eggs without government involvement, you're my hero. I love you.
Yeah, Erwin Schiff, Peter Schiff's father, said that you know, every business owner has a partner that you know, puts up no capital, puts up no risk, and demands like 40% of your profit, or 50% of your profits. That's the state.
Yeah.
You know, every business has a partner.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, you didn't even realize you were going to have a business partner, but you do.
Yeah.
And if you don't pay and you don't want them as a partner anymore, they're going to come in and take what's theirs.
Yep. Mafia style, you know, and yeah. So the idea that, you know, unfettered capitalism or free markets cannot self-regulate is completely ridiculous. And the way I like to say it is do you think, you know, pick your favorite local business that you love, that you go down and you buy their stuff because you talk to the owner and you love what they do and you love what they sell. Now imagine them doing something evil, right? Now, do you think that they're going to find a way to manipulate and deceive people and continue to be in business if they're hurting somebody or hurting, you know, the environment or whatever? Can you imagine that and continue? Of course not, right? That would get out like lightning and be all over the internet. There's no way for people to do that, right? But once you have political protection or you know, the protection of the state, right? And you bribe the politicians and you write your own regulations, you know, and you have the revolving door of, you know, the CEOs that go into the same regulatory agencies that supposedly regulate the same corporation, which is called regulatory capture. Once you have that in place, oh, now you're in a nice place where you can do all kinds of nasty stuff and you are immune. So it's very simple. You know, it's like you know, the same thing with the small mom and pop shop. Like, I'm like, if this person like goes under and goes bankrupt, do you think they're going to get a bailout?
Yeah, no.
You know,
no.
like,
No. And they act like, you know, people don't want good things. Again, like, we don't want to go into a business and enjoy. If we don't like it, we're not going to go in there again.
Right.
And I don't need a petition or write a letter. It just, if people don't go in there, they collapse. Right. Who's going to keep them around?
Right.
No one. You know, the market speaks for itself. Your product speaks for itself. If no one likes your cake, it's because your cake sucks.
Yeah.
If no one's buying my music or showing up at a show, it's because, you know, I'm not their flavor of choice. Yeah, it's that simple. It's but it's not that. But everybody is a victim in this. Everyone's a victim in this world, but they don't want to take any responsibility for how they became a victim, which was believing in a lie called authority. You know, that's why and we got a lot of by the way, it's getting ready to be summer, so I fully expect a hot summer with a lot of people who are mad, who want to take it to the streets and be heard, and you know, they're mad about this, they're mad about that. But again, they believe in authority. They believe in government. They're going to protest the problem and get a new version of the same problem. This is going to go on all around the world this summer, and every news is going to cover it. Your buddy's going to ask you to go protest. Bro, I've been going to protest since before 9/11. You know, and then when we finally showed up in 2003 and they put AR-15s in our face and in a free speech zone, we finally got the picture that, okay, this is, and then they declared, for anyone out there who doesn't believe it, sheriff said, you live in a war zone. So, you know, you're free and you're safe, but you live in a war zone. They declared it a war zone. You know, it's gone hot already. You've been stolen from, you've been robbed already. Going out and protesting and asking for their help. or believe in any one of these guys who wants to be your new Führer is going to help you. It's not going to work like that. It's not.
So, so before we end, can you talk a little bit about your next album, the Kyle Reese, and what kinds of songs you plan on putting in there?
Yeah, man. Anyone who knows me knows I've released 80s style music in the past. For anyone who isn't into the music going on around the world now, there is a new sound that is emerging on like sound, like cinematic, like you'll see it in movies, you hear it, it's in commercials, but what it is, it's a retro wave sound that sounds familiar. It sounds like the 80s, but there's a lot of these guys who make video games. They do, they're involved and they're big and they're my favorite producers ever. And so I love them all. And it's kind of like I could rap over some of these beats. And so I worked with an artist named Wave Shaper, who's really big in the synthwave community. And we released, I was on his album. There's no vocals on their albums, these people. Synthwave, dreamwave, retrowave. There's a couple singers, but I rapped over one, and I was like, I'm hooked. And I've been through some personal issues the last couple months where I wasn't feeling good, and the synthwave music was just there for me. And I love the 80s. I love that time. It's timeless. It draws to me, but the music speaks to me. And my new album, I am Kyle Reese from the Terminator. Since, I do have a message of warning people about what's coming and they don't want to hear it. The resistance is real. The future is ours. And I put it all into a new album featuring all of these synthwave producers and dropping it on May 12th, the day Kyle Reese came back in time to save Sarah Connor and the world. That's the day he came back in the movie. So I got the album done. I'm releasing it on cassette tape. It's perfect. I might just show up in a DeLorean at the next show and, do it the right way. But no, it's good. Like, it's my music. I'll tell you what, people are going to be surprised. I haven't really given anyone any listens, but I'm going to drop the single and the music video probably this week. But, everyone from every age, race, creed, all around the world can listen to this album. And that's what I wanted. I wanted it to be for everyone. I don't like alienating people because I believe in people. I'm not mad at anybody. Just because they believe in authority doesn't mean that I'm mad at them. I want them on my side. I'm here to help them out. And they can teach me things I don't know. There's plenty of stuff I don't know. So I believe in people. I want them all to get down with my music, and because I get down with everybody, no matter what you're into. There's something I can learn from you, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm very easily inspired in this world because I don't believe that in all the hype and the doubt and the fear. I believe these are magnificent times. I believe these are great times, and I love seeing what's happening in the world. I mean, and if you watch the news and you buy into it, it's going to look pretty drab and scary and, all that. But thanks to people like you and the millions out there like us, we don't see that stuff. We see joy and possibility and, limitless imagination. And it's beautiful, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that it's easy to get, dark and gloomy with these kind of topics. And I think it's important for people to realize that although we are, anti-state, anti-politics, anti-rulers, anti-politicians, we are also pro-freedom, pro-peace, pro-love. There's the basic messages of what we're saying is that we don't need coercion. We don't need institutionalized coercion for anything, right? Voluntary interaction is a very basic concept. Like, who would be against voluntary interaction? If you're against voluntary interaction, by definition, you're supporting involuntary interaction. You're supporting theft, assault, rape, and murder. That's what you're supporting. And who in their right mind would support that, right? And so I think it's important for people to understand that we are definitely pro-peace and pro-love. And I think the more that we show people that this kind of these kind of ideas make people happier, right? Make
Yeah,
you enjoy your life more. I think that's important for people to realize, because sometimes I think I went through the phase of paranoia when you discover, oh man, everything's watched. They can read your text, they can listen to your phone calls, they can see every Facebook post and everything, and so you kind of get scared in the beginning, and then after a while you're like, well, so what? Wouldn't you want them to read it, and hopefully maybe you'll convince somebody, one of them that's reading it.
I like to think I've turned at least 20 to 100 agents who follow my Twitter feed. I guarantee I've got them to stop following orders. Where they're like, you know what? I'm done following orders. I'm free.
I like this. And, I like what this guy is saying.
Yep, I guarantee it. Yeah, I mean, if you've been on the internet, it's very important for us to remind people that we're pro people. And this album is it's borderline pop, but I mean I'm the same Rambo, Blood of the Brave I am on there, but this music will make you feel something. Like this synthwave music it gets in your bones. It's music from movies, at that drama scene. It's very compelling. And these guys, this synthwave community is pretty awesome. But I mean, I'm a rapper. I love my hip hop community. I love the freedom community. I'm involved in all types of communities because I love learning and I like people. But that's all we got is each other, man.
Yeah, definitely. So one other thing before we go, I think maybe the first interview we did, we talked about intellectual property. And because a lot of people ask me about that, being an anarchist volunteer who does not believe in intellectual property, like how can you do that? Aren't you afraid people are going to take your music and then try to sell it and make money from it and steal it and call it their own? And so what would your response be to those kinds of people?
Well, I mean, it's easy and it's multi-layered. Like, I mean, first of all, I don't believe in authority, so it's between me and whatever happens. So if my music is that compelling that someone takes it and spreads it out there and more people know about it, I'm going to benefit from that.
That's an endorsement of you.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if the guy on the block is selling my mixtapes without my permission, you know what I'm saying? He went through his effort to take my music, my whatever my product is, and sell his own version of it. That's fine. That's on him. It has nothing to do with me. And if I have to if I need to hire someone to come in or have some authority figure use force to decide what happens between us, that's ridiculous. I believe in freedom. I'm not for coercion. I'm for voluntary interactions. And I mean, I'm a musician, okay? So I give out music for free. I sell it. If someone buys my music, I'm grateful, and I work harder to get them to buy it again. But I also give out free music in the meantime. Someone who's bought my music before has bought so much that they've been given free things, and then they take that music and then they give it out to all the people in their town. And what do you know? I can go to that town and do a show now and charge $5 at the door,
right? Because
that guy gave out my music to that town,
and they love it, and they want to hear you, and they want to hear you live.
Yeah, same with my cheeseburgers. If I had cheeseburgers and someone took my cheeseburgers, it's a product. It's called freedom. If you need a thug, Nazi uniformed jackboot to come in and handle, your so-called responsibility as a free individual, you're not free. So I don't believe in that. I mean, I'm against that. And I wish more musicians understood that. I mean, Metallica kind of tainted it all. A lot of big musicians don't really mind it. I know Game of Thrones, those creators don't mind piracy. There is no such thing as piracy anyway. I don't even know. I mean, real pirates are coming to take your children and your money.
Yeah, right. We have to give the real pirates more authority to lock up the people who copy stuff on their computer.
Yeah. Get out of here. No. I'm grateful for the people who've given out my music free because, and then when they tell, I had a guy on Instagram tell me, he goes, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I go, oh, did you get that on Spotify? And he said, no, I downloaded it. I converted it all from YouTube. And I said, dude, that's awesome. Did you burn a CD and give it out to your neighbors? And he was so shocked by it. He said, I thought you were going to be angry. And I said, I can't be angry at anybody who supports my music. I said, yeah, just make sure you go burn those songs and pass them out at the gas station. And he's like, that's a great idea. And I'm like, yeah, you could, tell them they're free, by the way, too.
Yeah. And it's just so sad. It's like they're afraid of the spread of ideas. These people who support this intellectual property. And the other thing, the other way to look at it is intellectual property is living in the past. It's like you have to devote a certain amount of energy and resources to hunting down and making sure people are not, selling your stuff without your permission. And that basically takes away that much energy and resources from creating new content. From how much,
correct,
right?
Yep.
And
yep,
so that's
totally.
like, to me, that's living in the past. It's like who in the world is playing my or selling my music without my permission? Like, and how much energy does that take? It's so sad. It's like it's a loss. It's a net loss, basically. You're only losing the possibilities that you could be creating more wonderful things, spreading more awesome ideas.
And in the you nailed it. It does. But in the professional music world, publishing is huge. And your biggest artists that people know about publishing, from Michael Jackson to Prince. If you own your own masters and no one else makes money off of it, publishing your rights to your music,
right?
I'm telling you, man, they're all lost in the music world when it comes to that. I didn't get paid for it being on this or there. I'll get paid if my music makes its way to the right place. I'll get paid on it. That's how it's going to happen. But if it doesn't, and I find out that I was on HBO, let me tell you, everyone's going to know I was on HBO. I'm going to get a clip of my song be on HBO. I'm going to put it all over the world, and they're going to say, damn, he was on HBO. They used his music. He's awesome.
Right.
It works out. Yeah. But people want to be owned, and they want to. You don't own anything. You don't own anything else that you didn't create. It's yours. So once it's out in the ether, no idea is original. If someone takes pieces of that idea and builds something new, it's theirs. You go on and keep creating your own innovation. Mm-hmm. You can't, like you say, you can't spend all your energy worrying about what happened to something you created long ago. You're not going to be an innovator anymore.
Right. You're just going to be, I guess that's a lot of what happened to one-hit wonders where you never hear them again. Maybe they just focusing on who's pirating my stuff.
That's what they did. That's what they do. Well, they got entertainment lawyers out there, and almost to get your music in the right place, you have to have one, which is sad. But they took the art. I won't let anyone take the art from me. So I don't play those games, and I'll go onto the radio station when I want. I don't even need them to give, if the people want me there, I'm there. That's one thing I admire about 50 Cent is he didn't need an industry. He didn't need anything. He had the power of the people. His music spoke for itself. And he just came by a firestorm. And that's what happens in all art. When an artist arrives in art, whether it's painting, writing, nothing's going to stop it. It's the people wanted it, and no lawyer, no, company's going to decide. The companies are going to come after that and offer you the money, which is, fine. If it's worth money, they'll pay for it. Where's the value? As we say, where's the value?
Yeah. It reminds me of Albert Einstein, one of Albert Einstein's quotes, which is, just don't worry about making money. Just worry about creating value.
Boom.
Right?
Yes. I love that, man. I love that. Yep.
And like you said, ideas, nobody can own an idea. How can you own an idea? It's like, how do you own a triangle? Can you own a triangle? Like, or a square? Can you own that? Like, trademark every square that ever existed in the world? No, come on.
No. And that's my favorite influence in life, Nasir Jones, the rapper. Mm-hmm. That's one of his favorite lines is, no idea is original. There's nothing new under the sun. It's never what you do, but how it's done.
Right.
And the dudes, and I mean, that's using art to educate people on freedom. Like, here's a guy from Queens, New York, hitting minds with, oh my God. Because I mean, I never thought of that, man. This is before I knew about voluntarism or anarchism. I'm 17 years old and I'm hearing that line and I'm like, and I thought about that line I still think about it. That's inspiring. That's art. When you, and he was right. He was speaking on true freedom, which is no idea is original. There's nothing new under the sun. It's never what you do, but how it's done. Like, don't worry about creating money, create value.
Yeah, it's like it's so sad. People actually look at being able to copy things digitally as a bad thing. It's like was the printing press a bad thing? was the ability to copy audio cassettes, was that a bad thing? Was the ability to record VHS tapes, is that a bad thing? And what about now with the internet? Is Pirate Bay, is that a bad thing? Is it
it's just when the right people don't own it, they get mad and say it's the bad thing. If the right, you know what I'm saying? If that company who thinks their idea is, now that it's out in the world, that they still own it in the air, like someone owns the air.
Right.
You don't own energy. Sorry. You don't own what's in the ether. It's out there. You don't own it. Yeah.
It's like, how can you say that the spread of how do you say, the spontaneous spread of ideas is a bad thing? Like, this idea shouldn't spread spontaneously. We should cage it. We should restrain it, restrict it, lock it up, and charge people to look at it. Because like you said, the product speaks for itself, right? You don't need necessarily, I mean, I guess to some extent you market your stuff, but if people see value, they spread it to their friends and their family, and they're like, you got to check this out. This guy is awesome. I like his message, his music, his beat. And so, his music speaks for itself. And I think your music definitely does. And that's why I love having you on here. And, hopefully we'll have you on again when you have another hit that we're gonna, I guess so in May. That's so that's in a few weeks, right? Okay, all right. So we're looking forward to that. That'll be awesome. Really, really excited.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. And everybody go check my YouTube page and you'll see the new music video, Not a Game. And it should get your blood boiling. It should get you going a little bit. It should remind you to care a little bit about the world. But that's all I'm here to do. And I thank you for having me on here to give people that fuel that they give me, because I'm constantly inspired by other people, and I just want to give it back to them, man.
Definitely. Yeah, we inspire each other, definitely. So please check out his work and spread it. He will not hunt you down if you do. He will actually thank you.
I will. I'll come to your town and perform and give you a big hug.
Awesome. See that? The spread of ideas is not a bad thing, people, okay? Get that out of your head. Oh, copyright and IP. It's just a horrible idea. An awesome conversation, Brent. So if anybody wants to help me out, you can do so through Bitcoin, PayPal, or Patreon. The links are in the description. So that's patreon.com/peaceful anarchism to help me out. $1 a show is all I ask, and we are capitalists in the end. And we do, I give out these, videos for free, of course, on YouTube and Stitcher and iTunes, as a podcast. But, although I do this in my free time, this is not free, right? Because, it's opportunity cost, right? Anything that we do, we are not doing other things that we could have been doing, right? So there's always an opportunity cost to what we do. And so monetary compensation is always appreciated and encouraged, right? Just like with Blood the Brave here, it's not necessary to buy it, but it's appreciated, and it helps to encourage us to do what we love doing best, right? So please help us out if you can. So thanks a lot, Blood the Brave, for coming on. Really appreciate it. So this is
appreciate you, man. Much love. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Great talk. You always inspire me all the time, man.
I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. So this is Peaceful Anarchism on the Voluntary Virtues Network, and theseedsofliberty.com and theconsciousresistance.com. Wishing everyone have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BitCot no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. That's getcell411.com.